Coach, if you start off with a brief statement.
Obviously, big game tomorrow against a TCU team that's really well coached. Has a star player in Bain, a big guy inside, and Samuel, who's always inside the lane and around the rim. So we've got to keep him off the glass. We've got to contest the 3-ball at Bain. And Nevin Hart at the small forward position has great athleticism, combination of athleticism and strength.
Eric, I guess Bain's a real elite three-point shooter, and their team's leading the Big 12. It must be pretty high nationally. You guys obviously have been leading the nation most of the season in three-point defense. How do you see that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, TCU's gonna, they're gonna, Coach Dixon, he does, they do what they do. We played them a couple of years ago at Staples Center, and they execute really well offensively. They do a good job of getting their best players the ball and their best players shots. They're still going to shoot threes, and we have to do as good a job as we can contesting the three.
And what do you remember about that game? I guess it was 84-80 a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Both teams are pretty good.
They had more size than we did.
Let's see. As far as Bain, what makes him so good? What's he do to get all those points?
Yeah, I think he's just improved so much as a player. A few years ago he played a lot of 4 for him, kind of power forward, and then moved to small forward. Now he's playing a lot of off guard. So he's always been a really good 3-point shooter. He's a really good rebounder for his position. He's strong. And obviously he's improved his ball handling as well and his ability to create his own shot. I think he's a really good passer too. You watch him on wing pick and rolls, and he just throws the ball through 4 defenders on skip passes. That's what I was really impressed with watching him on film, is his ability to find people when he's got the ball in his hands on skip passes if you overhelp.
And that's kind of the time of adversity right now that Jimmy was just talking about. What is a player like Jimmy's, graduate transfer, what's the leadership been like?
Yeah, I think that, the guys that have been through, like guys like Jimmy and Adriel that have been through 3 years, of wins and losses. They, I think stability is always good for those guys that are kind of level. For guys like me that are up and down, like a yo-yo, not so good when you lose. Got a real interesting text this morning from Mason about how I needed to bring energy today. I don't know if I've ever had a player text me as I'm waking up that I need to bring energy, but I'm going to bring energy as soon as we're done with this because Mason Jones told me to.
Scott? Coach, do you maybe anticipate making some changes to starting a lineup, or maybe stick with the status quo?
Yeah, I think certainly there's thought process, and tomorrow I'll probably leave to go work out about 7 in the morning, and I always take my dog Swish for the walk, and on that walk tomorrow we'll probably discuss the starting lineup, and I'll pretty much take his lead for what he says. But in all seriousness, yes, could be. They might have to do some new graphics for the starting 5.
How has Isaiah kind of handled some of those struggles that he's had offensively the last 3 games, and how have some of the other team members maybe?
Yeah, I think all of it. Every baseball player goes through a hitting slump, and pitchers go through where they might not throw strikes or shooters, and it's not just one guy. It's everybody in basketball, whether it's Steph Curry or whoever. You're always going to have ebbs and flows throughout a season, and he's done a good job too, fighting through fatigue and a little injury and such. So I think that there's a lot of combination of why players have good games, and so I think that his teammates are still trying to get him the basketball, and
you don't strike me as a guy that lacks energy or doesn't bring energy. What time did Mason text you that? What was your reaction, and what was your reply to him?
I think I gave him the thumbs up. I think he just sensed that I was not real happy yesterday.
Just kind of down in the dumps a little bit.
I don't know about that, more angry.
Angry, okay. Well, you can have energy with anger too, right?
That's true, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't bring it yesterday.
Yeah. And what time was that they texted you?
Probably, I'm gonna guess 7:08.
Okay.
I get Mariah up at 7, my phone's still on the charger, and then I grab it right before I walk out. I'm gonna guess 7:08.
And TCU had a couple tough road losses, I guess, to OU and I think West Virginia, and then they came back home and had a huge win against Texas Tech. Well, what did you see from them, the Texas Tech game? I guess, just what impresses you about them overall?
Again, just, like a premier scorer in Bain, who's really hard to guard. So you got a guard who shoots a high percentage from 3. You have an inside guy in Samuels who can really rebound the ball. You have a really good athletic small forward, and then you add 2 grad transfers in Grayer, who plays the power forward spot, although he's really like a 3-2. So kind of like our team, where they're playing Grayer as a perimeter stretch 4, who's a pretty good rebounder at his position. And then Dennis at the point guard spot is a 5th-year grad transfer. So 2 grad transfers along with Bain, who's got an incredible amount of experience. So, and they're well coached. I mean, he does as good a job as anybody in the country coaching. Jamie does.
When you kind of go back and look at that first half when Reggie kind of really gave you another spark and Silla kind of finally got going back, I mean, what can you take away from that as you kind of move in to this back half of your schedule?
Yeah, I mean, you hope that a player, when he goes in and plays well, you hope that he gets more confident. But I've said it before, like I think every game takes on its own identity. Going into the Kentucky game, just because we played well a game before, I don't think it really matters. I think that players get hot during the course of the game. Matchups are different from game to game. I thought Silla did a good job of playing within himself. He knew that in order for him to turn 1 minute into 3 minutes, into 6 minutes, into 10 minutes, was to not turn the basketball over, rebound, and defend. And then he supplied, he made a 3 because he was open, and his feet were set, and it was a really good shot. And then he did a great job of what we call our weak side pairs action, where he set a screen for a shooter, and then he slipped for an easy layup. And then he converted the layup. And then Reggie's done a great job in our dunker spot, hanging around the baseline and kind of ghosting himself, and then finding open gaps and catching the ball and finishing the ball in traffic. And SEC length has not bothered Reggie around the rim finishing. So certainly those 2 guys, we hope that their confidence has grown with recent play.
You mentioned there might be some lineup changes in the graphics. Can you be more specific, or would you?
Not really. I mean, again, I'm just going to take that Saturday morning stroll with Swish, and we'll let marketing people know that to have a few different graphics ready if we're going to use our social media and put a starting 5 out there, because I know that's really important that thing gets out there before tip-off.
I know you want TCU to read about it, right?
That would be true.
You think Mason was talking about energy, maybe bringing more positive energy?
No, I just think it's energy.
Yeah.
I think he was. I probably shouldn't have brought that up.
No, we love stuff like that. And then I know Jeff Grayer's kid plays for him, and I think Nemhard's dad played in the NBA. You seem like you know or coached that with or against everybody. Did you have experience with their dad?
Yeah, I mean, Jair came on a visit here. He was one of the guys that we brought in. And yes, I do know Jeff. He was a great player, played in the NBA and also played in the minor leagues. And then Nemhard's dad was an unbelievable minor league player.
Did you coach against those
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, against him, not with him.
And it's bad to say he's related to Florida and them hard, but do you know where those guys related?
I don't think so, not at all.
Okay, you think they said it was bad if they were. And then, probably won't be students line up at 5 a.m. or whatever, but, it's another sellout crowd, it's a big game, TCU's, coming off a huge win. What do you expect from the atmosphere, and how can that help you guys when you're trying to get off the deck after a couple times?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere will be awesome. Look, we've lost 2 in a row. The atmosphere, the home game against Kentucky, nobody in the country is going to be able to duplicate that, I don't think. I think it was as good as any atmosphere that you could possibly ask for. We lost a game on the road that we could have potentially won. Our team is playing really, really hard. I think that our fans feel the passion kind of that they play with, and so I think we're going to have not only is it a sellout, but you got to sell the ticket, but then they got to come, and I think they're going to come to the game. And then I think our student section will be great. I just came from a sorority. They seem pretty fired up. They all said they're coming, so I think we'll have a great student section. I know they're not going to line up early, but as long as they get there before tip-off, we're cool with that too.
And they weren't quote challenge games. I'm sorry, final question. Okay. Now they weren't challenge games. You wanted Indiana, you beat Georgia Tech. This is the third Power 5 conference you could beat. How big would that be, and just kind of carrying the SEC banner in this challenge thing?
Yeah, I think it's a big weekend for our conference for sure. Whether it's Kentucky and Texas Tech or our game, I think that it's especially kind of the time of the year, like when the schedule first came out, I was kind of like, wow, why would, but now that I'm involved in it, it's kind of a cool time because like there's no football going on, there's no NFL, there's no college football, so to speak of, and right now is a big time college basketball. People are, the NBA playoffs are still too far away, and so I think it's great for college basketball to have this thing right now on a Saturday is great. I think it's great for our fans to be able to see, teams from a basketball conference. It's really good.
Thanks, Coach.